SCP Automated File Reading. Top 3 Nicest SCPs explained. 3 SCP-2295 The Bear with the Heart of Patchwork. Item, SCP-2295. Object Class, Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-2295 is to be kept in a standard containment locker within Storage Wing 25 in Site 37. Personnel with Level 3 or higher security clearance are authorized to perform tests on SCP-2295 after filling out the appropriate paperwork. Please contact Dr. Gurgis if required. Access to SCP-2295 is expected to exceed 24 hours. Description: SCP-2295 is a patchwork stuffed bear, approximately 0.46 m from head to foot, and stuffed with synthetic fiber and cotton. SCP-2295 has a small, anatomically correct pin of a heart on the left side of its thorax, and a bow wrapped around its neck. The fabric and color of SCP-2295's patches vary. Tests confirm that no components of SCP-2295 contain any anomalous chemical properties. SCP-2295 enters an active state when within 2 meters of a human sustaining major trauma to an organ. When in the proximity of 2 or more possible subjects, SCP-2295 will invariably choose the youngest subject. SCP-2295 will anomalously produce scissors, white thread, and either sewing needles or a crocheting hook from its mouth and use any fabric and stuffing in close proximity. 1 to fashion an instance of SCP-2295-1, a patchwork imitation of the subject's organ. 2. SCP-2295-1 vanishes from sight and the subject falls into a state of unconsciousness. SCP-2295-1 instances then replace the subject's damaged organ via anomalous means. The whereabouts of organs replaced this way are undetermined. If there is no usable material in close proximity, SCP-2295 will use fabric and stuffing from itself. SCP-2295 regenerates 1 gram of stuffing every day until completely replacing any lost or used stuffing. Note that fabric used this way does not regenerate, and additional fabric must be placed near SCP-2295 for the purpose of self-mending. Instances of SCP-2295-1 successfully carry out their respective functions despite the numerous expected biological, chemical, and medical incompatibilities. Once within the subject, adjacent tissues and veins attach to the imitated organ without observable complications. There have been no cases of rejected SCP-2295-1 instances, and all subjects recorded at the time of writing made full recoveries. Test Logs 2295. Testing approved to test the limitations of SCP-2295. Materials provided within testing chamber. Addendum 2295, Document 2295 was recovered taped to SCP-2295 inside the site of a crashed mail delivery vehicle. Document 2295 is a red Get Well card with the text Kairos the Bear written on the front cover. Test Log Dash. Subject, D2353, 38 years old. Diagnosis, lungs heavily damaged as a result of 25 years of smoking. Notes, SCP-2295 creates SCP-2295-1 using 1 black textile swatch and 1 red textile swatch. New lungs act at a capacity similar to those of healthy adult lungs. Subject, D3452, 50 years old. Diagnosis, frequent heart palpitations and severe atherosclerosis. Notes, SCP-2295 crochets SCP-2295-1 using various surrounding yarns. SCP-2295-1 observed to have a heartbeat before vanishing. Transfer successful. How SCP-2295-1 manages to perform function despite absorbent properties of material and multiple gaps in design is unknown. Symptoms no longer present in subject. Subject, D7894, 24 years old. Diagnosis, first and second degree burns ranging throughout upper torso, left lateral, and right leg. D7894 sedated during testing. Notes, SCP-2295 sews 225mm x 5mm sections of patchwork fabric. SCP-2295 cuts appropriately sized swatches and manually places one layer onto subject's affected areas, creating multiple instances of SCP-2295-1, and then repeats this process. The created SCP-2295-1 layers act as dermis and epidermis and, upon recovery, D7894 claims to have retained feeling in replaced skin. Subject makes a full recovery. Subject, D2723, 18 years old. Diagnosis, cerebral hemorrhaging. Notes, SCP-2295 grasps various materials in its proximity in a distressed state for approximately 1 minute. SCP-2295 then anomalously produces a SW milk chocolate king-size candy bar and offers it to subject. SCP-2295 spends rest of test embracing subject's lower right leg while anomalously producing a saline solution from its eyes. Recovered document 2295-. Contents of document 2295. To Tommy, because only time can mend all wounds. Love, Grammy. To SCP-999 The Tickle Monster. Item, SCP-999. Object Class, Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-999 is allowed to freely roam the facility should it desire to, but otherwise must stay in its pen either between 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for sleeping, or during emergency lockdowns for its own safety. Subject is not allowed out of its pen at night or off facility grounds at any time. Pen is to be kept clean and food replaced twice daily. All personnel are allowed inside SCP-999's holding area, but only if they are not assigned to other tasks at the time, or if they are on break. Subject is to be played with when bored and spoken to in a calm, non-threatening tone. Description: SCP-999 appears to be a large, amorphous, gelatinous mass of translucent orange slime, weighing about 54 kilograms 120 pounds with a consistency similar to that of peanut butter. Subject's size and shape is easily malleable and can change shape at will, though when at rest, SCP-999 becomes a rounded, oblate dome roughly 2 meters wide and 1 meter in height. The surface of SCP-999 consists of a thin, transparent membrane similar to that of an animal cell roughly 0.5 cm thick, and is highly elastic, allowing SCP-999 to flatten portions of its body up to 2 cm thin. This surface is also hydrophobic. Although SCP-999 can willfully absorb liquid, see Addendum SCP-999-A. The rest of SCP-999's body is filled with a viscous orange substance of unknown chemical makeup, though it is capable of digesting organic materials with ease. Subject's temperament is best described as playful and dog-like. When approached, SCP-999 will often react with overwhelming elation, slithering over to the nearest person and leaping upon them, hugging them with a pair of pseudopods while nuzzling the person's face with a third pseudopod, all the while emitting high-pitched gurgling and cooing noises. The surface of SCP-999 emits a pleasing odor that differs with whomever it is interacting with. Recorded scents include chocolate, fresh laundry, bacon, roses, and Play-Doh trademark. Simply touching SCP-999's surface causes an immediate mild euphoria, which intensifies the longer one is exposed to SCP-999, and lasts long after separation from the creature. Subject's favorite activity is tickle wrestling, often by completely enveloping a person from the neck down and tickling them until asked to stop, though it does not always immediately comply with this request. Though injuries may occur, SCP-999 has never been found to purposefully attempt to harm others, and will immediately back away and contract its body into a quivering mound while gurgling in a manner similar to a whimpering dog, seemingly apologizing for hurting someone on accident. While the creature will interact with anyone, it seems to have a special interest in those who are unhappy or hurt in any way. Persons suffering from crippling depression or PTSD, for example, have reported having a far more positive outlook on life after multiple interactions with SCP-999. The possibility of manufacturing antidepressants from SCP-999 slime is currently being discussed. In addition to its playful behavior, SCP-999 seems to love all animals, especially humans, refusing to eat any meat and even risking its own life to save others, on one occasion leaping in front of a person to take a bullet fired at them. Subject's intellect is still up for debate, though its behavior is infantile. It seems to understand human speech and most modern technology, including guns. SCP-999's diet consists entirely of candy and sweets, with M&M's trademark and Necco trademark wafers being its favorites. Its eating methods are similar to those of an amoeba. Addendum SCP-999-A, reminder to all staff, SCP-999 is not to consume caffeinated soft drinks of any kind. Last week someone gave SCP-999 a can of cola along with its usual breakfast. Not only was it literally bouncing off the walls for half an hour, the carbonation made SCP-999 visibly queasy afterwards, and it refused to move or eat the rest of the day. SCP-999 has thankfully recovered since, but the staff member in question has been reprimanded. Dr. Addendum SCP-999-B, the following is a report from an experiment in which SCP-682 is exposed to SCP-999 in the hopes that it will curb the creature's omnicidal rage. SCP-999 is released into SCP-682's containment area. SCP-999 immediately slithers towards SCP-682. 999, elated gurgles. 682, unintelligible groans, growling. What is that? SCP-999 moves in front of SCP-682, jumping up and down in a dog-like manner while calling out in a high-pitched squealing noise. 682, groans disgusting. SCP-682 immediately steps on SCP-999, completely flattening SCP-999. Observers were about to abort the experiment when SCP-682 started talking again. 682, grunts. Unintelligible. What is this? Low noise, similar to light chuckle. I feel good. SCP-999 can be seen crawling up from between SCP-682's toes, up along its side and around its neck, where it clings on and begins gently nuzzling with its pseudopod. A wide grin slowly spreads across SCP-682's face. 682, deep chuckling. Feel so happy. Happy. Laughs. Happy, happy. SCP-682 repeats the word happy for several minutes, laughing occasionally before escalating into non-stop laughter. As laughter continues, SCP-682 rolls around on its back, slamming its tail upon the floor with dangerous force. 682, bellowing. Laughter. Stop. No tickling. Continues laughing. SCP-682 and SCP-999 continue the tickle fight until SCP-682 finally wears down and appears to fall asleep with what would appear to be a smile on its face. After 15 minutes with no activity, 2D class personnel enter the room to retrieve SCP-999. When SCP-999 is removed, SCP-682 immediately wakes up and unleashes an unidentifiable wave of energy from its body, all the while laughing maniacally. All persons within the wave's range collapse into crippling fits of laughter, allowing SCP-682 to escape and slaughter all in its path. Meanwhile, SCP-999 quickly rescues as many persons as it can, taking them to a safe place to recover from SCP-682's laughter wave while agents suppress and recontain SCP-682. Despite the tragedy that SCP-682 had brought upon the facility, SCP-999 has not shown any fear towards the creature and in fact has made gestures suggesting it wants to play with SCP-682 again. SCP-682, however, has stated that feculent little unintelligible can data expunged and die. Memo from Dr. While the test was unsuccessful and ended in tragedy, that had to be the funniest thing I have ever seen. I never thought I'd see the day when I would regard SCP-682 as cute. Please send me a copy of the security tapes ASAP. 1 SCP-4966 Tapoca, Lord of Munchies. Item, SCP-4966. Object Class, Safe. Special Containment Procedures, SCP-4966 is to be kept within a modified humanoid containment cell sized appropriately for a domestic cat to move freely. This cell is to be furnished with several pieces of cushioned furniture, recreational objects such as climbing towers, plush toys, and small plastic objects have also been provided. SCP-4966 is to be socialized with tri-weekly by on-site researchers. Tests involving SCP-4966 are to be approved by Dr. Bannock. Personnel wishing to provide SCP-4966 with additional recreational objects are to purchase them using their own funds. Description: SCP-4966 is an animate quadrupedal creature constructed of gray fabric. All attempts to pierce or damage this fabric have failed. X-rays and other examinations of SCP-4966 have shown a lack of any internal structures. SCP-4966's body is completely devoid of markings or orifices, with the exception of 2 black eyes and a woven mouth. Vocalizations made by SCP-4966 are similar to that of a young feline. SCP-4966 is highly social and will become anxious and withdrawn if not socialized with on a normal basis. SCP-4966 has a tendency to imitate the actions of other entities it interacts with. SCP-4966 shows no apparent need to eat, drink, or breathe, although it will imitate these actions if another entity is doing the same. When presented with the corpse of an organism, SCP-4966 will extend its mouth through unknown means and consume the corpse in its entirety, causing its body to bulge and stretch around the added mass. All attempts to measure the tensile strength of SCP-4966 while in this state have failed, as SCP-4966's skin will visibly remain the same density throughout this process. No limit has been found to the degree that SCP-4966 is able to distend, with it having completely enveloped the corpse of an adult blue whale Balænoptera musculus during testing. Once a corpse is fully enveloped, SCP-4966's body will slowly return to its normal size. During this deflation, SCP-4966 will experience alterations in its morphology consistent with the physical characteristics of the organism it consumed. The most common alteration is the addition and modification of limbs, although other alterations such as changes in SCP-4966's proportions and vocalizations have been recorded. The only physical traits of SCP-4966 that are unable to be altered are its existing facial features and gray coloration. Alterations will remain for approximately 4 hours after consumption, after which SCP-4966 will regurgitate biological waste consistent with the composition of the consumed organism. Addendum: included below are several excerpts from the SCP-4966 experiment log for the purpose of further understanding SCP-4966's transformation abilities. Introduced corpse: an adult male timber rattlesnake Crotalus horridus. Corpse integrity: shows initial signs of decomposition. Developed alterations: SCP-4966's torso extended approximately 150 cm more in length than previous measurements, with its abdomen ending in a developed tail and rattle. SCP-4966 used this additional length during testing to wrap around and climb the limbs of researchers but was not wrapped tightly enough to inhibit blood flow. The developed rattle was used by SCP-4966 almost constantly during its transformation, often shaking it while interacting with researchers. Regurgitated matter: a mass of decomposing keratin and liquefied organic matter. Introduced corpse: an adult female lionfish Pterois miles. Corpse integrity: shows signs of advanced decomposition. The interior of the corpse is almost completely putrefied. Despite the corpse's venomous spines, SCP-4966 was able to consume it without issue. Developed alterations: SCP-4966 developed a pair of pectoral fins, an anal fin, and a large dorsal fin constructed of several long spines. These fins were observed impeding SCP-4966's movement, specifically limiting its vertical mobility. Chemical analysis of the spines tested positively for lionfish venom. As such, no further interaction with SCP-4966 was conducted prior to regurgitation. Regurgitated matter: broken spines and liquefied organic matter. Introduced corpse: a pile of deceased sycamore maple Acer pseudoplatanus leaves. Corpse integrity: slightly degraded. Developed alterations: no observed alterations. SCP-4966 consumed a single leaf before immediately regurgitating it. SCP-4966 spent the remainder of the test playing within the pile of leaves, repeatedly jumping into it from provided furniture. Requests to provide SCP-4966 with additional plant matter for recreational purposes are currently pending. Regurgitated matter: a slightly damaged leaf. Introduced corpse: a female adult ostrich Struthiocamelus. Corpse integrity: severely damaged. The corpse was presented to SCP-4966 in several pieces, with the left leg and head of the corpse not present. Developed alterations: SCP-4966's legs extended approximately 1.3 meters and developed two large toes similar to that of an ostrich. 1 SCP-4966's head extended approximately 1.2 meters upwards, forming a large curved neck. A pair of featherless wings developed on the sides of SCP-4966's torso. On several occasions, SCP-4966 attempted to take flight using these wings, with SCP-4966 eventually jumping off of provided furniture in an attempt to glide. Despite ostriches' normally territorial nature, SCP-4966 remained sociable during its transformation. Regurgitated matter: several shattered portions of bone and a large amount of liquefied organic matter. Introduced corpse: the head of a male adult eastern moose Alces americana. Corpse integrity: corpse is taxidermied, and is well preserved. Developed alterations: SCP-4966 developed large antlers approximately 1.4 meters across. Due to the size of these antlers relative to SCP-4966's head, its sense of balance and mobility was severely hindered. Additionally, SCP-4966 developed large ears that lacked structural support and were unable to keep themselves upright. Auditory cognition tests determined that the ears did not improve SCP-4966's hearing ability. Regurgitated matter, a large compact mass of metal slag, wood pulp, and shattered bone. Introduced corpse, a pair of brand genuine leather boots. Corpse integrity, recently purchased and unworn. Developed alterations, no observed alterations. SCP-4966 approached the boots before lightly biting the toe of the left boot. After examining the right boot in a similar fashion, SCP-4966 knocked over the right boot and climbed inside of it, falling asleep shortly afterward. Regurgitated matter, none. Input level for 4966 security credentials. Credentials approved. Welcome researcher. Introduced corpse, the corpse of D01763, who was an upholsterer prior to her incarceration. Corpse integrity, well preserved. Developed alterations, no physical alterations were observed. Upon consumption, SCP-4966 emitted several strained vocalizations before speaking in slightly incoherent English. SCP-4966 began commenting on the construction of its furniture, claiming that its provided bedding material was far below standard requirements for domestic pets. It has since been determined that rather than inheriting physical alterations, SCP-4966 is able to access the memories of a deceased human by consuming them. In addition, SCP-4966 gains the ability to speak in a high pitch, although its sentence complexity is comparable to that of a young child. Speech is lost upon regurgitation, but the memories of a consumed individual are retained. Regurgitated matter, shattered bone and liquefied organic matter. Following this discovery, a raid on Site-17 was conducted by operatives of GOI-003 Chaos Insurgency, where operatives attempted to gain access to SCP-4966's chamber among other anomalous objects. Once the raid was repelled, a damaged insurgency document was discovered among the corpses that gave detailed information regarding several anomalous objects, including SCP-4966. SCP-4966 was provided with the corpses of several GOI-003 members in the hopes of discovering how this information was acquired. A transcript of the interview conducted with SCP-4966 has been provided below. Interviewed, SCP-4966. Interviewer, Dr. Randall Bannock. Additional information. Due to a lack of relevant information, 2 hours and 14 minutes of the interview have been excluded. For a full transcript of the interview, see document 4966-4. Begin log. Dr. Bannock, SCP-4966, can we please get back to the subject at hand? SCP-4966, I want a munchie. Dr. Bannock, you've already been given 7 biscuits. You'll get some after we've finished the interview. SCP-4966, no, I want a munchie now. Dr. Bannock, holding their head in their hands. SCP-4966, this would go much smoother if you simply cooperated. SCP-4966, I want a better bed too. The one you guys have is lumpy. Make a bed out of munchies so I can eat it when I get hungry. Dr. Bannock, SCP-4966, if you answer the question, I'll give you another biscuit. SCP-4966, pauses if I get the good munchies this time. Dr. Bannock, how did the insurgency know where you were? SCP-4966, the red shooty people, they found the room with my name on it. Dr. Bannock, Psi, how did they know that was your item number? SCP-4966, I was in the room, so the room had my name. They made lots of banging on the door and noisy noises. I was sleeping but it was too loud and the bed was lumpy. Dr. Bannock, your new bed is coming soon. Ho dash. SCP-4966, how soon? Dr. Bannock, tomorrow. How did they know where the building was? SCP-4966, Munchie. SCP-4966 is given a biscuit. The biscuit is consumed by SCP-4966 without chewing. No matter is regurgitated. SCP-4966, the pat people who visit me. They tell the red people stuff through the head parts. Dr. Bannock, pauses the head P. Never mind. Can you be more specific? Who are the pat people? SCP-4966, lots of people give me pets. The white coat woman who gives me the toys is nice, I like her. She gave me the ball with the bell in it and it makes a ringy noise. The orange person that gives me lots of pats, but its face keeps being different between pat times. It gives me pats though, so it's a good orange. You give me munchies and smell like a cake, and that's a good munchie. Also, you said you were gonna get me a good bed, bulletin dash. Dr. Bannock, which one of the pat people told the red people about you? SCP-4966, Munchie. Dr. Bannock, I'll give you a biscuit if you tell me. SCP-4966, but I want Munchie now. Dr. Bannock, if you tell me now, I'll give you 2 biscuits. SCP-4966, the orange person sometimes. They use the head part so you don't get distracted from doing scribbles on the board you have like you're doing right now. That looks real hard. Dr. Bannock, what do you mean by the head parts? Do you know anything about that? SCP-4966, Munchie. SCP-4966 is given 2 biscuits. SCP-4966, I think they use their head squishies like the one in the red guy I munched, and the one in the spiky stripy, but that one wasn't too good. Dr. Bannock, do you mean their brains? SCP-4966 nods. SCP-4966, yeah, they use the head squishies to talk. Dr. Bannock, okay, what did they use in their brains to talk? SCP-4966, I don't know about squishy parts. I think the big part that looks like a watermelon is used to talk. I'm not a organ psychic. Dr. Bannock, let's put it this way. Do you remember the, orange person that you ate? SCP-4966 nods. Dr. Bannock, what about their brain was different from the red people's brains? SCP-4966, the orange person was colder and was kinda too mushy. The red people had lots more stuff about shooty guns, but I don't like to hurt people, so I say no thank you, mister. The orange person had a lot more about like being stuck in a room, and I don't think they ever got to taste the crispy crunch of a munchie, which is sad. Dr. Bannock, yes, that's quite sad. Was there anything in the red people's brain about how they talked to the orange person? SCP-4966, I don't think they could talk to the orange person because I already ate them. Dr. Bannock, no, the ones that would pet you. SCP-4966, pauses 1 second. I'm gonna do a real big think. Dr. Bannock, take your time. SCP-4966 sat in silence for several minutes, occasionally making confused vocalizations. SCP-4966, I think I found something from the red people, but it's a bit scrambly and they use some big words I don't know. Dr. Bannock, just do the best you can. SCP-4966, I think they're hungry and they want to get some snacks for their sleepover. Dr. Bannock, I'm sorry SCP-4966, they keep saying words about sonic chips, but they aren't eating any chips and I'm confused. Wait, I think the orange people had the sonic chips already. Maybe they forgot them at the store cause they're saying stuff about not noticing the sonic chips. I want Munchie sonic chips like the orange person gets. Dr. Bannock, can you tell me which orange people can talk with the outside people? SCP-4966. Can I have sonic chips for Munchies after some difficulties? SCP-4966 lists the identification numbers of 14 D-Class personnel, with several having known affiliations with GOI-003. Autopsies of these individuals have discovered a small device implanted within the cerebellum capable of sonic transmissions. The transmitters possess mild antimimetic properties, making their emitted transmissions be perceived as mundane and unremarkable. For its role in discovering the informants, SCP-4966 was provided a bag of Tostitos brand tortilla chips. Footnotes. All developed feet had right-facing toes.